Indeed they were. Hello, happy Tuesday, everyone. Stephen A. already started the introductions, but we'll do it one more time here on First Take. I am Shae Cornette. He is Chris Canty, Jeff Saturday, Sergeant Friday, I believe it was. I like that, too.
Don't buy
into that nickname.
It's the only critical word that I'm allowed to say to Jeff Saturday today because my sister Carmen is home watching.
Yes.
She loves old Blue Eyes.
Yes.
As she does.
Thank
She
you,
loves
Carmen.
herself. She loves herself.
At least we got one intelligent one in the family. We're greatly
That's where we got to go. That's where we got to go.
Well,
All
let's be
let's
real.
go.
It's hard to argue with Jeff Saturday when you look in his eyes. It's hard to argue with him.
But let me tell you who's going to try their best. These two today here on First Take. Let's go to what happened last night, because in a week where we had a lot of teams have their coming out party, Jacksonville, a little late to the party, but they came out, that's for certain. So last night, the Jags got the best of the Chiefs thanks to a pick six off Patrick Mahomes. Last-second improbable touchdown by Trevor Lawrence. And with the win, the Jags matched their win total from last season, and the Chiefs fall to below 500. Here's Patrick Mahomes on the loss.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucks. You know, you let a game slip away. Credit to them. They played hard. They played hard the entire game, and we got to be better. You know, we've lost too many games already, and so we got to find a way to be better as a team and come together and play better throughout the rest of the season.
Now, that's for certain. Look, with last night's loss, I mentioned the Chiefs are under 500, but it's at the latest point in the season since starting 3-4 in 2021. A year ago, they did not go to the Super Bowl. That year, 2021, they didn't go to the Super Bowl. Last night was the Chiefs' third loss this season in a one-score game after going 11-0 in one-score games just a year ago. And so, look, we knew the Jags were coming, right? They had started out really good so far this season. The Chiefs look to be better the last couple of weeks, but does last night, Stephen A., say more about the Jags and where they're at, or the Chiefs and their problems?
Well, for me personally, when I think about it, I would like to say I think it says more about the Jags and how they're coming up, because it was Monday night. It was a big stage for them. And we know what Patrick Mahomes can do. When Kansas City took the lead, we weren't surprised. We see that Rashee Rice is going to be on the way back. Okay, you know Xavier Worthy's already there. Kelsey's already there. Hollywood Brown's already there. Okay, you look at it, Thornton, there's got to pay attention to him. You see the requisite weapons that Kansas City has at its disposal, and you're anticipating that things are going to be on the come up. Meanwhile, you see the Chargers having tailed off a little bit. Broncos making some noise. The Raiders are just garbage right now. We get all of that. So you expect Kansas City to be in the mix, and you were wondering coming into this game whether or not Trevor Lawrence was going to step up and handle the big stage. You know they've got some weapons, but in the same breath, you got some cats that haven't been necessarily reliable, like Thomas and others. But then you look at him coming into the game, and you're saying to yourself, his completion percentage wasn't that great. Receivers needing to step up. These question marks about Jacksonville coming into this game, particularly with the number of changes that they made in the offseason. Were you going to step up and answer the call on your home turf in Jacksonville on Monday Night Football with Patrick Mahomes on the opposite side of the field? Usually that the possession is in his hands, you know, and he's willing to dictate, and he's going to dictate it, and it's a nightmare. Damn, Patrick Mahomes got the ball on. But it was Trevor Lawrence's turn last night, and he answered the call. And you got to give credit where credit is due. And that's why I say this was more about the Jaguars last night in terms of what I'm paying attention to, because the Chiefs I'm not really worried about. I wanted to see what the Jaguars was going to do.
So are you saying you trust Trevor Lawrence?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm saying that he's elevated. He's elevated himself. We needed to see that from him last night to have a reason to believe in him based off of what we've seen the last couple of years.
I hear you, because I still got questions about Trevor Lawrence, which means I got questions about the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is why I think last night's game tells me more about the Kansas City Chiefs. The fact that your staple over the better part of this decade has been the defensive side of the ball, and they allowed for 21 unanswered points. And at the end of the game, Harrison Butker has the gaff, kicking the ball out of bounds, gifting them the ball on the minus 40-yard line. And then your defense allows the Jacksonville Jaguars to drive 60 yards for the game-winning score. That's an absolute embarrassment. We already know that the Chiefs have some issues on the offensive side of the ball, right? They can't run the football. 4 of the 5 games that they've played, they've had a non-running back lead the team in rushing. That ain't great.
Yeah.
They're relying on too much of Patrick Mahomes trying to be special with the off-schedule plays. And even though he did show some of that last night, that is not something that's going to be able to be sustainable. And so I guess my issue with the Kansas City Chiefs now, because everybody has said that Kansas City's going to be fine when Xavier Worthy gets back. Kansas City's going to be fine when Rashee Rice gets back. I think we have to acknowledge that this version of the Kansas City Chiefs is not like versions of the Kansas City Chiefs that we've seen in past years.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the same thing. I think it's the Chiefs, and Shae brought it up in the beginning. 11-0 last year in one-score games, 0-3 this year. And if you think about the problems they're having, it's their best players. Like Chris Jones against the Chargers, right? He goes inside on the last play. Herbert gets outside. They end up losing that game. You have Kelsey, hits him in the hands in Philadelphia. Ball pops up, interception, goes the other way. Last night, Mahomes, and basically put the nail in the coffin. Interception, pick six, goes all the way back to the house. These are all their best players. Butker kicking the ball out of bounds. These are all the guys that you've depended on for the last 4 and 5 years and who have continued to show up week in and week out. I'm bullish, like with Stephen A. on the offense. They will get that part back. I am concerned from the defensive side with Spags that they don't, because that is how that's their calling card, is closing teams out. The offense walked off with a 4-point lead. Like those are usually closeouts, right? Those are moments of closeouts. Spags' defense gets after it, and I get like the throw that Lawrence makes on the right side to Thomas is absolutely insane, right? Dropping the bread, a catch and the throw are magnificent. But the Jags, the Jags should have never been at 14-0. You thought that game was going to be over. Mm-hmm. They were resilient. They fought their way back. But my question for the Chiefs is, we're not measuring them on the playoffs. Mm-hmm. We're measuring them on winning the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs they either win the Super Bowl or it's a failed season. That's a tough measuring stick year in and year out.
This is what drives me crazy about you two. This is what drives me crazy. Listen, I defer to y'all. I'm brilliant because I know I'm not. Okay, but this is what drives me crazy about y'all. So we're looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars, who won 4 games last year.
Right.
They already have 4 wins this year. We're looking at them leading the league in turnovers. Enforced turnovers. Think about that right now. We're looking at them on Monday Night Football against Patrick Mahomes. Okay, what week is this? Week 5? We're really going to sit up here and make a big deal about what we're seeing from Kansas City in week 5? This is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, think about this. When you talk about a Rashee Rice, a Hollywood Brown, a Travis Kelce, all of these cats, they haven't been on the field together as Kansas City Chiefs yet. Not one time.
Right.
And so ultimately you're anticipating, okay, what's going to happen when that happens? Because we know what Andy Reid can do. We know what Patrick Mahomes can do. And we know what Travis Kelce can do even at this stage in his career if you've got other people that you've got the key on and you don't get to really key on him. So I'm looking at it. I ain't even bring up Pacheco and Kareem Hunt because we know, listen, we're not satisfied with what they're doing.
No.
But we also have seen them perform in big moments before. I'm just saying it's week 5. I'm not thinking about Kansas City. I'm thinking about a Jacksonville Jaguars team that this time last year in week 5 was irrelevant already. This time 2 years ago in week 5 was irrelevant then. All of a sudden, not only are they not irrelevant, they're up in first place. I'm just saying, wait a minute, guys. You got to pay attention to this new coach, new system. You drafted Travis Hunter. You got Trevor Lawrence out there looking like a damn quarterback for a change. Because the last time we saw him look like that was when he came back from a 27-0 deficit against the Chargers in the postseason on their home turf. This is the best comeback that they've had since that day. That's what I'm talking about when I'm looking at the Jaguars. Y'all are talking about the Kansas City Chiefs because of the expectation of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm saying there's a long way to go before the playoffs begin when it comes to them. But when it comes to the Jaguars, every damn week count because you never know when they're going to plummet.
Oh, no doubt about it, Stephen A. But I think 2 things can be true. It's important that Jacksonville has a signature win when Liam Cohen is trying to establish his program down there as a new head coach. But I think we also have to acknowledge that yesterday's accolades don't get you tomorrow's wins. And right now, a lot of guys on the Kansas City Chiefs are more named than game. This is the latest that they've been below 500 since the 2021 season, and they didn't make the Super Bowl this year. And Jeff Saturday just got done telling you, we judge the Kansas City Chiefs based on their ability to be able to get to and win Super Bowls. So there is a different standard. I am not going to gloss over the things that we're seeing from this Kansas City Chiefs team. I can't gloss over what I saw from Chris Jones at the end of yesterday's game. He gave up on a play. It's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt on a play with the game in the balance, especially when I saw him loaf.
Here's the video.
Well, here we go. I mean, here's the video of Chris Jones making that run. And here's the thing, he's not even getting off the ball. But I can't even give him the benefit of the doubt on that play because I saw earlier in the second half him allow Trevor Lawrence to run into the end zone on another touchdown in the red zone. Those types of plays, that kind of effort from your best player and one of your team leaders is absolutely unacceptable.
Right.
And so you have to wonder, at what point does complacency set in with the Kansas City Chiefs? Remember, in the Mahomes era, they played 2 months more of football than anybody else during that span when you consider those deep playoff runs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that has to be weighed when it comes to what we can expect from Kansas City for the remainder of the regular season.
Now, I will say this. Okay, first of all, Xavier Worthy, I don't know that he's all the way 100% healthy. And you're right. We haven't seen them all play together.
That wasn't an excuse last week. That wasn't an excuse last week with the Baltimore Ravens.
With a swollen ankle. I mean, this seems like a new-ish kind of injury. Anyways, as we go back to the defensive side of the ball and Chris Jones not doing what he's expected, we're over here always criticizing. If Patrick Mahomes throws a pick six, Travis Kelce, the offense, the defense. I'm sorry, Chris Jones did not look like himself yesterday in prime time on a Monday game against a very good Jaguars team. Like, he deserves a little bit of the smoke.
For sure. And listen, a loaf is a loaf. And the problem is that's your captain. Like and I mean, how many Super Bowls has he closed out? This is a dude now. He's not just good for the Chiefs. He's one of the best in our business. And so when you see a guy in a moment like that stop, not drive, not go in football from Pee Wee on, it's on defense. Pursue through the echo of the whistle.
Stop you before you go on.
Yep.
We owe it to the audience to read the quote that Chris Jones gave after the game.
Okay.
We've got to finish that play. It was a fluke play for him to be able to break that many tackles. I put it on us as a defense. We've got to finish. We've got to bring him down right there.
Yeah.
Said we. Not by him. Now you can continue. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows you watch the video and then you saw the quote because we want to contextualize things properly here first.
That's fair. And again, this is the best in our business. And when you see a guy do that in that moment, and that's what I was talking about, why it was more of an indictment to me on the Chiefs, is it's their best players. These are the guys who lead. So think about it. Think about the hierarchy of a locker room when you walk in. When I first walked in the Indianapolis Colts, I watched Marvin Harrison practice. I'm going to practice like that guy. He's in the Hall of Fame for a reason. He took every day like it was a game day, right? He was like, look, we get paid to practice. We play the games for free type idea, right? It's those guys. So on the team, as the attrition of football happens and 33% of your team changes over, you go look at those guys. People watching that ain't how we lead. And the problem right now is too many of their best players in marquee moments are not showing up. And listen, I think they will make the playoffs. I think it's still a very good team. In fact, I think they'll probably win their division, right? But I'm not measuring the Chiefs on making the playoffs.
Right.
When you got that guy at quarterback and you got Spags and that defense, I'm measuring them winning the Super Bowl. When I see the best players make or have the problems, this isn't some young rookie left tackle. Right. This is the guys. Like, they got to make plays.
Respectfully, I think what you're breaking down is not enough. Is it a matter of them losing it, or is it a matter of arrogance? Yo, we ain't worried about nothing because we know the playoffs is a new season. And when we get there, we know what we can do. We know what we're going to do because we've been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Is it about performance in terms of ability, or is it arrogance usurping their ability, and that's why we're talking about them the way they're talking about them?
Yeah, I don't think it's arrogance. I do not. Because it's never like you don't. The last play, you could talk about the loaf, whatever that may be. That could be a different conversation. But like Mahomes getting picked, getting tricked, the Kelce, hitting him in the thing, like hitting him in the hands, and then Philly picking it off. It's the details. Butker kicking the ball out of bounds when you got the lead. Like, those are mistakes you can't make when you are that team. They're too good to make those mistakes. Those are the ones that I don't like seeing.
Yeah, I don't like seeing them either, and that's why I lean toward complacency. Although I will say there does feel to be a touch of organizational arrogance because of how special Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are, that they haven't done enough around both of them to take full advantage of what they're bringing to the table while you got them together in their prime. That's separate and apart. But when it comes to the performance on the field, when you have your leaders playing below the standard that you established over the last decade, that is a problem, Stephen A. And you have to ask the question, why? And the only thing that I can lean on is the fact that they've been able to pull out of these nosedives. They've seen seasons where they started out 3-4 and found a way to win their division, found a way to get to the conference championship game. They're leaning on past experience and that proof of concept that they can do it. And the problem with that in the NFL is that every season is brand new.
Yeah.
And there is no guarantee that when you dig this early regular season hole, you're going to be able to climb back out.
I'm in no position to disagree with you. I just know that in all my years of covering sports, I've run across on many, many occasions you going up against competition that you've owned, and you make a lot of assumptions about what they're going to do or what they're not going to be able to do, and that might compromise the level of urgency that you need to have. I've seen it. I've heard folks speak on it. I can't even tell you how many times you go into a locker room after a game, you talk to players before a game. Yeah, we gonna bust it. You live in North, please. They ain't ready.
Right,
Your
right.
brothers, they ain't got it. They ain't, and literally you have no concern. And then all of a sudden they shock the world. I've seen that happen to teams that have been champions before. That's all I'm saying.